Okay, now I probably ain't gonna be able to share it. I don't know what you mean. Okay, let me get the phone propped up so everybody can hear you. Waiting for some people to come on to see if they can hear you or not. Okay, hey Maurice, hey. We're gonna get this together. We're just gonna do it the old-fashioned way. Hold on. Okay, hey Rachel. All right, say something, Lewis.
Hello.
Can y'all hear him?
Hello.
Can y'all hear him? I want to make sure y'all can hear him. Okay, you can hear him. All right. Okay, thank you. All right, good. All right, we just gonna have to do it that way. Sorry about that, y'all. We had some technical challenges, but I think that means that this is going to be a really, really good conversation. And I wish you could see his face so you can see this is a real live human being. But it's all good. We are going to have a powerful discussion. So first of all, I want to let you know, for those that don't know who I am, my name is Siobhan. I am the You Relationship Coach. And what that means is I am passionate about all things relationships, starting with yourself. I believe a healthy relationship starts with us. So I'm always talking about stuff to improve you so that you can have a better relationship with other people. But so every Wednesday I have relationship conversations, and tonight my guest co-host is Mr. Lewis Williams Sr., and he is on the phone. You can't see him because we were having some challenges on his end, but we are still going to have this conversation. You just won't be able to see him, but you can definitely hear him. So, Lewis, can you please introduce yourself to the people?
Well, I want to first apologize for having the technical difficulties on my side. I've never been on live, so I know that sounds crazy. But yeah, I went to Rains High School. My name is Lewis Williams. I've been blessed with the challenge of having custody of my kids. But I grew up in a single family, household. My mom raised us. I never seen my dad before day in my life. Yeah. We lived on multiple sides of town, east side, west side, north side. So I kind of got the full bad version of everything. And there were some people that came into my life and gave me some good versions too. But, just the regular and flawed as anybody else. And I'm glad you said we're having a conversation, because I got off work late, so I couldn't prepare. So it won't be an interview. It'll be more of a conversation. I'm sure any encouragement to somebody will help.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what this is. This is a free-flowing conversation. So because it's real talk. So it's going to go wherever it goes. It may go with the questions I sent you. It may not, it'll go. And if people who are watching, if you have questions for Lewis, please, feel free to chime in and we'll try to get to them. Sometimes we can and sometimes we can't. But so I know Lewis because we're both from Jacksonville, Florida, represent Duval. And we went to the same high school. And when I posted the other day about interviewing somebody who had a man who had custody of his children, who was a single father, my really good girlfriend suggested him. And so I talked to him over the phone, and he had such a powerful story that I felt would be just perfect for tonight's conversation. So as you said, Lewis, you have custody you have 4 boys and you have custody of 3 of your boys. So can you tell us about, that whole process, being a single father, having custody, and what that's been like for you?
Yeah, definitely. I do want to touch on something that, before we get started, that'll help preset kind of what we're talking about. Okay. When we were talking about with your introduction and how you're your relationship coach, and to be honest with you, you couldn't have a more flawed candidate on your program. And I think that's important because most people think, oh man, I got to be clean. I got to be, going to church. I got to have my life completely together, to be in my kids' life. And that's so false. You can have just as many problems and just as many challenges and still do what you're supposed to do. I can't tell you the bad decisions I make every day. And still have that focus of this is my kids, so I'm going to do whatever it takes for them. I don't go to church every Sunday. You can see me in the club. You'll see me in the middle of a block party on the north side, but you can't worry about that. You can't worry about people talking about your past and you too hood, you done been locked up. Whatever the scenario is, you can't worry about it. So I just want to make sure people understand that you don't have to be the perfect candidate. You can just do what you're supposed to do if you get a seed in this world.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that, because that's real talk. And being, you know, who I am, or you relationship coach, I'm passionate about relationships because I done messed them up, you know. So it's like we are the perfect candidates for these kind of stories because we're telling our experiences. So I'm so thankful that you shared that, because a lot of people would think you have to be like this model citizen, or I got to do all things the perfect way. And it's like, no, I just got to have a heart to want to raise my kids, you know. So yeah, thank you for saying that.
No problem. But to your second question, what was the full question again in terms of getting custody of the boys, or what was it?
Yeah, so let's I'm gonna back up. So I'm gonna change the question. So starting with, tell us about how old you were when you had your first child.
Lewis is 18, so I guess 22.
Okay, so you were 22. Okay, so what was life like before that, and then how did it shift afterwards?
Oh man, so I was single, running the streets. I moved out my mom's house in high school, so I didn't have to go to school, but I still finished. That was important to me. You know, you go through that whole time period when you're young, or just searching, man, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go to this direction, go that direction, and that's the most impressionable time. So you can fall into anybody's hands that, you know, who you kind of believe in and who you look up to, whether it's good or bad. You have that 1 foot in the street, 1 foot trying to do the right thing. To be honest with you, I kind of knew early on, growing up in my household, that the streets wasn't going to be my main priority. Of course, it was the lavish thing to look up to, but I always tried to do something different. Like I said, I had friends that did everything besides go to school. But, you know, before I had kids, it's trial and error at that point. You just looking for a purpose, and moved to Gainesville, moved to Atlanta, lived in Miami. Man, just, you know, some of the craziest times of my life, and I just thank God I was spared to where I didn't lift my record up enough to where I could do this. Everything was a culmination to this point. And just to touch on that, what I mean by that is so many things happened early on that I really didn't think about, like my sister having kids early, so we had to help out with them. And we grew up on Section 8, so we had to help our mom out. So that also indirectly helps you as you get, you know, kids. And you search for that meaning. And then when I had Lewis, you know, my life just changed.
So let me pause you right here. So it's almost like you were in preparation without even knowing it to be a father.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Wow.
It was one of the things we said when we were on the phone. I said, man, when I was just talking about, you know, I was like, man, you might want to have a pastor on the phone or some professional lawyer that had kids, because my life can be so messy, but I've always had that compass of, okay, I'm going to do whatever it takes to raise these kids. But before you get to that point, you have to, you know, be strong enough to do it, because, you know, it's not easy. And just so many things happen to where you'll be prepared without even knowing. It was like all these things happen, and then it culminates when you have kids. Like, you know, even my boy's mom, when they were, you know, babies, they would freak out. And I would be like, okay, I'll handle it. And it was just like stuff I hadn't handled before. Like, man, you was in, you know, a lot of people say they was in the street and stuff like that. I don't try to glorify that whatsoever, but I have seen those times for real. And to be able to completely let that go and say, I'm going to focus on this, even to the detriment of your own life, and that's a whole nother conversation. You just do it. But yeah, so many things happened. I was just like, thank God I have already went through this in some way.
Yeah. So here you are, you had your first son, and then you had 2 more children after that. And then you have a 4th son. But how did you end up getting custody of your 3 boys?
Well, I'll shorten that story down. So I was in Miami with Lewis' mom. We was just figuring out life. We was running the street. Her dad was like one of the biggest dope boys down in Miami. And, you know, I'm being from Jacksonville and just running. We was just running, having fun. And she got pregnant. And, well, you know, it was just like, it was so terrible at first, but I was like, oh man, now I'm gonna have a son. And you know, we both kind of got into it, but I think it slowed down how much fun we were having. And being the flawed person I am, I'm sure I made a bunch of mistakes. But at that instant moment, I knew that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a father. Wow. I'm going to take care of this child. In terms of at that time, I was thinking that we're going to be together. Of course, I never thought, but that I have to do it on my own. Yeah. But that changed. Everything stopped. Just a quick side note. I go down to Miami. I'll go somewhere, and the boys, oh man, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. And I say, well, I gotta find somewhere to drop the kids off. And they're like, man, you still got your kids? I'm like, well, why wouldn't I? So
where they going?
Exactly. So I got Lewis when he was born. His mom broke up. She was pregnant with Shamari. I got Shamari when he was I would get him for months at a time, and I kind of finally convinced her that they should be together. That was my first mistake, not getting legal because of them, but we can talk about that later. And of course, making whatever decisions, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna, take care of myself. So I went for Lauderdale once I got Shamari, and I moved to Jacksonville to be closer to my family, and just out there doing whatever and still hanging out, but still being a father, single father. I ended up having another son, and then that was a whirlwind right there, and I didn't see him for the first. I saw him when he was born, off and on a little bit, but her whole thing was if we wasn't going to be together, I don't have to worry about him. Even if I was, paying child support, I would go to court. They would try to force her to make me see him, and I would show them like, hey, I already got custody of my other two kids. I at least can be in the role of father, and they would try to make her. But her whole purpose was, whatever destroys your life, that's what I'm gonna do.
Wow. And then, so can I pause you right there, because that's powerful, and that's something that we talked about last week when I was talking to my good girlfriend, who is a single mother. Just encouraging the mothers out there not to do that. Like, don't do that to your children where you're using them as a pawn to keep them, from their father. So it sounds like that's the type of situation that you were in, where because you guys weren't together, she was trying to keep you from seeing your son.
Yeah, that was would have been the least of my worries, and not to denote that because that's powerful enough by itself. But when you add to it, going to jail, my kids have to see that stuff. She breaking into the house, she would follow me around at work. We got my sister fired, so it's just and again, I'm sure I made some bad decisions along there too. But I'm trying to do something more important than have this drama going on, and it just got worse and worse and worse. And I think I was telling you, I finally was like, okay, I got two kids. I can't risk losing them over this one. I just pay my child support, and I just won't worry about it no more. And I tell you, from the bottom of my heart, at the moment I started feeling like that, I want to say to that day when I finally made that up, because I was thinking about this every day. And after having not seen him for a while and going to court and not just getting a short end of the stick because I'm a man, and the court system tends to take man's word a little less with priority, I can just tell you that. And the moment I started feeling like that, a DCF lady knocked on my door and said, we've been looking for you for weeks. She lost the kids over an abuse incident with the oldest son, and that's how I got Gator when he was 1.
So wait a minute. Let's pause that right now, because that is, so you had custody of your 2 boys, and you were going back and forth to court to get custody of your or just to get visitation to see your 3rd son.
Right.
And then, so just when you were like, you know what, I'm not going to risk it to give, to risk not being there for my oldest 2, I'm just going to, let it go, pay child support, and then not worry about it. And then you get a knock on the door from DCF saying that they've been looking for you so that you can get custody of your 3rd son.
They've been looking for me for the 2 weeks because how the court system works, when they remove the kids, I think it's for a second time, they don't give them back instantly. So the mother has to actually do things to get them back in the household. So she just kept telling them she didn't know who the father was. And the lady was like, well, we just looked in the system finally and saw that, well, you're getting child support from some man, so he must be the father. And that's how he got in my life. When he was 1, they came that day, they gave her a year to get her act together. And she just blowed it off, showed out, called the judge a B, all this and that. They gave her visitation in a separate area. She pushed the visitation lady down, which was really all that played in my favor. And they closed that case out and gave me primary custody, and she had a heart attack because she didn't think they were going to do that.
Wow.
And yeah, it was great. So now I have three. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I know I'm gonna be a father. So that's the main point of it.
Now, how old were you? How old were you at that time when you got custody of Gator?
Gator is 8, so 31.
31. So you're 32 years old with 3 boys.
Yes.
Raising them by yourself.
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
And just to add to that real quick, it was so funny because when I said the DCF lady finally knocked on the door, it was like when he came in, of course he didn't know me that well because I had only seen him a couple times. And after we kind of got used to each other after a couple weeks, I was sitting in my car at work, thinking like, man, I was not only about to give up, but I was literally at the moment when I was about to give up. That's when that came, and it just always shows you that it's a higher power, even if you don't believe in Jesus or whatever. There's the Holy Spirit that is like, sometimes things are out of your hands, and I'm telling you, this situation was completely out of my hands.
And that's a message to a father that may be watching this and saying, man, I'm tired of dealing with all the drama with my baby mama and just all the stuff I got to go through, so I might as well just give up and just give in to the situation. Just continue to hold on and fight for your child or for your children, because you just never know. It was predestined, it seemed like, for you to have custody of your boys and just raise them. Like you said, it wasn't a perfect life, but there was a reason why, you got custody of your boys. So if it's somebody out there watching this, just be encouraged. If nothing else, just hear, from Lewis and what he had to go through and what he's continuing to go through. And I just hope you'll be encouraged and keep fighting for your children. Well, go ahead.
Continuing is a key point, because it doesn't stop. You'll never be good enough in any, I wouldn't say in any of their lives, but maybe in the back of their mind they think they will. But the mother or the other father or whoever it's going to be, I think that we always have this challenge built up in ourselves. It's like, I can't believe you did that, but really we do stuff to ourselves.
Yeah.
So as much as a piece of crap you're going to be, and you don't do enough, even if you have them in your house full time, you still don't do this and you still don't do that. It's like, but you're doing what you're supposed to do. You're raising them kids. You're going to work every day. Just do what you're supposed to do. I was sitting in jail for 90 days with custody of my 2 kids, trying to just get visitation of a 3rd one, and that's when I was like, I'm giving up on this situation. I sat in jail for something I didn't even, everybody sit there and that, but the situation where somebody can just go and say you did something and get you locked up, is like, wow, why would you do that? And I have these other boys to worry about. And that's when I gave up, and the Lord was like, no, I'm going to show you, just when you think it's completely over, that's when I'm going to step in.
Wow. That is so encouraging. I'm telling you, not even just for parents, but just for me. Like, Lord, just when you feel like giving up, he's like, I got you. Just keep going. I got you. And he'll give you a sign to let you know, that he's still there with you, handling the situation. Yeah. Wow. So you have 3 custody of your boys at this time, 32 years old. What would you say, like, what were some of the challenges of being a single father and raising your boys?
Challenges. I think when you don't come up in a pristine household, when you don't have those, I would say examples, because like I said, I've never seen my father a day in my life. So there was no example to live by. So you're always going to run into a challenge, because everything is trial and error. When you talk about challenges, I'm talking about real challenges, like not knowing where your next meal going to come from, and you got a full-time job. You're not getting no government assistance. Your kids seeing you fall in terms of losing jobs, having to do whatever to, make it to the next thing, getting arrested. We're talking about real life issues. And then something that you wouldn't even think about is something as simple as the challenge of telling my kids I love them every day. We didn't grow up in a household where that was, common to say. We knew we loved each other, but that's not, we wouldn't express it in that way. We were, like me and my brother, we were the boys. We didn't, we didn't do that. But these days, you have to tell them that they, you love them, and get used to that, and you make them feel comfortable by expressing stuff like that. It's not an easy thing, and it's going to get harder for you, but you got to be focused enough to, like, okay, whatever comes into my life, once we get to that point, in terms of, I'm going to raise my kids for real. I'm not going to drop them off to nobody. I'm not going to worry about a support system. I'm going to do it. You're going to face everything, but you're going to smile at night.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And so even with challenges comes like rewards. So what rewards would you say you have seen as a result of you having custody of your boys?
Well, the trials and tribulations is going to sometimes put a cloud over the reward.
Yeah.
But you can't worry about a tangible reward. You got to worry about rewards in terms of seeing I have an 18-year-old now. He's about to graduate from Oak Leaf High School. And just, seeing him figuring out which direction he want to go into in life. He's talked to the military recruiter. He got part scholarships to continue track. And just being able to be there and like, man, I wish somebody was there when I was going through this. And I can see the difference it makes when that father figures they're like, you're 18. I can't tell you what to do, but I'm glad you value my opinion enough to, for us to do it together. And that's the reward. Seeing him on that stage, even for my younger kids, when we continually go over something, even if you got to give them a spanking, even if, they hate it, but the moment they do good in that particular subject, I'll say something like, my son, about 14, have been fighting in that. And he's been doing extra work and doing this, and he's so happy when he get that good grade. He's so elated when the teacher's like, oh, I noticed you've been more active in class. You have to win. You have to take the little rewards and not worry about, oh man, when I'm going to finally get the big reward. No, it's always the big rewards. Every day that they're there and you're there is a reward.
I know that's right. That's beautiful. So what would you say, we hear all the time that a man in a child's life or a father in a child's life is so important. What would you say to that? What is the importance of a father being in a child's life?
Well, that's real important. And to be honest with you, I can't give you a good answer because I didn't grow up with a father in my life. My mom raised me, and she did the best she could. We didn't have much. Sometimes we didn't have anything. But again, when you go through those difficulties that prepare you for life, and as a man, you want to be the one to show your son, like take pride in, like, I'm going to raise him, because if we don't raise him, the streets going to raise him. The jail's going to raise him. These other little kids running around with guns in their pocket, they're going to raise them because they're so impressionable at this point. You want to be the one to put your hand on that scale and say, no, this is the direction you should go into, because I don't bump my head enough. Even if your kid is not in your house full time, even if it's just a kid's friend, you got to reach out to these young black kids and just be like, nah, man, listen, I made mistakes. I done had guns. I done had drugs. But hey, listen, I can learn my history enough to know that, man, we were kings and queens. We wasn't dummies and robbing people. Man, your life got so much purpose. So you can always put your hand on somebody, even if you're not a father. But when you have a son, man, and I wouldn't know because I don't have a daughter, so I'm sure it's different for mothers, but with a child, I would say, so it covers, both of us. When you have a child and you being the person that can raise them, and it culminates to when they, 18 or so, and they get out your house, what we look for, you can say, I did that. You know what I mean? I raised them. I did that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have a question on here. Were or are the mothers involved with the boys' lives now?
So the first two, their mom lived in Miami. Like I said, when they were young, I moved from Miami. I always made efforts, especially when they were growing up, being that I had so many friends in Miami, to drive back and forth to Miami. There came a time, and I think I touched on it earlier, where I didn't get legal custody of the boys. She just let me raise them. And for 10 years, it stayed like that. We were in Jacksonville, and she was in Miami. And one day she just came and went to pick them up. And it was right around the time, pick them up for good. And it was right around the time I was going through this thing with my third son. And I didn't know what was going on because she made me promise when I first got him that I would never put on child support, which is crazy. So I never did. I just wanted to be in their life. And they had to go back to Miami because that's the way the law is. The mother had 100% right of the kids until the father proved otherwise. And I didn't know that, even if they'd never seen the mother before, and I didn't know that. And I would get off work on Friday, drive to Miami, pick them up, drive all the way back here, get here Saturday morning just so they can be in the comfort of their own home, then get up Sunday evening, drive all the way back to Miami, drive all the way back here, and then go to work. So So
wait a minute, hold on, because this is crazy. So you had custody of your boys for 10 years, and all of a sudden, and because you didn't have legal custody, the mother could come in at any time, take them back to Miami, and that'll be fine.
Yep, I learned it the hard way. The school wouldn't let her get them the first day.
Yeah.
So she came back with the police the next day because somebody must have told the law, and he was like, "This has to happen. You have to go to court and fight it." And I was like, "What?" And that's a whole other issue. So they went back to Miami for I want to say about 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And the money I had to pay to fight that, even though I had them in my household, it was established in Jacksonville, which is really what the law. The judge could have deviated from the laws.
Yeah.
But, having those bad luck, I got a judge that was retiring during my case. He didn't really pay attention to the case.
Mm-hmm.
And I paid $1,800 just to get a woman lawyer to appear with me for 1 day, first appearance, to explain the case. It was the first day they went back. So 3 days later, it was our first appearance after I filed a motion. And he decided that, well, the law is this and that. And my lawyer was arguing that clearly you can deviate because they don't know Miami like that. They know Jacksonville like that. They're established in Jacksonville. And it didn't work. I couldn't believe it. It tore me apart. And so I had custody of Gator for like a week now. And now I lost my first 2 kids.
So you had Gator for a week after you had no one do all of that, was about to give up, and then, you're good for a whole week, and then you have to have this challenge of now fighting for your other 2 boys, your oldest boy.
No. I went to court back and forth for Gator for a full year. For a full year. I had legal custody of him for a week, and then within that week, that's when the next phase started.
Lord, how much?
Going to court in Miami. Yeah.
So you have been literally fighting for your children for a long time.
15 years. I still go to court to this day.
15 years.
I get DCF called on me from the moms, one particular mom, like every month, like they want to arrest her for continually calling in all of this crazy stuff. Like they specifically tell her that this is a waste of our resources, and if we could, we will lock you up. Do you know you can call DCF every day anonymously? I mean, anything just to cause turmoil. Yeah, anything just to cause turmoil. But again, you got to be able to shake that stuff off and keep going.
Lord have mercy. 15 years of fighting for your children. That is powerful. And the fact that you still going, you're still, pressing your way forward, and you got to shake, like you said, just shaking it off and continuing to be there. I just want to commend you so much. I know that, this is just like you said, this was a part of you. I remember you said you felt anointed to do this, but just from an outsider looking in and listening to your story, I just thank you for fighting for your children.
Well, in return, we have to thank all the single mothers that raised me and that, your friends that because they go through this without any, commitment or anything like that. This is a normal life for them. But for a man, it sticks out. And it shouldn't be that way, whether you're a man or a woman. If you have kids in this world, let's just do something for them. I mean, it can't be all about us. And it's no more excuse about, I got felonies, I done been locked up, I don't have money, none of that don't work no more. Because I can tell you, I can give you a situation, a personal situation for anything you can bring up, and it didn't break me down. It broke me down. I wanted to give up, don't get me wrong, but it just always seemed like something came out of the whatever to make the next day go forward. So there's no more excuses.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you have a 4th son as well that you don't have custody of, but that you have visitation rights for.
Yes.
Okay.
I did. Yes.
Okay.
And my flaw, and my flawless, and always making my mistakes. I ran across so many good women that I'm pretty sure that I ran away. I would say only because of what my biggest thing is. Everybody's like, well, you don't never have time for me. And you're right. I guess I really don't. I mean, I work full time. I coach my kids. I don't, they don't just live with me. And that's the thing you have to understand. You have to be a parent. So a parent means you have to go to, be involved in their after school activities. I coach basketball and football out here. You have to go to parenting meetings, PTA. I was the only man in one of the PTA meetings that I was just looking so weird. But you have to be completely involved as much time as you can. And you can't really worry about yourself. And, all of us don't want to do that. We don't want to give up ourselves. Women do it all the time, but as men, we like, man, we're supposed to be out here foraging and doing this and doing that, which is all well and good. But when you have kids, it's change your whole mentality.
Yeah. Because I was going to ask you about that. How has dating been? And it sounds like it's kind of challenging because you're busy raising your boys.
Yeah. Dating is a whole another situation. Like I said, I ran off so many good women. I'm sure I've had good decisions and made bad decisions, and so I can't say it's all women's fault of why I don't have a relationship. I'll just say my focus has always been 100% about the kids, and I've been in relationships where they're like, well, it can't be 100% about your kids. It has to be something about me and this and that. And to my detriment, I never changed my pattern. I still live single. I even tried to get married. And, she was a good woman. I'm pretty sure I probably had more of us breaking up than she did. And that's where my fourth son came from. And it was just like, no matter how she looked at it, I looked at it totally different. And, we probably shouldn't have never did in the first place. So it didn't last very long, but we got a son out of it. And I'm pretty sure I did more wrong than, she did. I can't blame nothing on her. But it just to the point of your question of a relationship, besides being married, most women want a man like, okay, I would say 80% of women, 50% or something. It's like, okay, a man supposed to take care of my household, supposed to help me pay my bills. And when you run across a man that's, maybe, good brother, but he living just like you.
Yeah.
He got bills to pay. He got kids to take care of.
Yeah.
He got all this extracurricular stuff to do. Where does that leave anything?
Yeah.
So rarely how many women do you honestly know out there that's going to be like, okay, this man can't take care of me. I for right now, I got to, feed my family. I can't worry about his challenges. So you can't worry about it. To be honest with you, I've been gave that up a long time ago. I just worry about them and, whatever I don't have, I just don't have.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, Louis. I'm just blown away. I know you don't want to take the, just don't want no accolades, but I'm gonna still say I'm blown away by your story, and I'm thankful that you're sharing this because, unfortunately, we don't hear a lot of stories like this. We do hear more of the mom stories of how they're going through the challenges and pushing through obstacles and all that kind of stuff to raise their children. But that's why I wanted to have you on here to share another side, to hear the man's perspective. So what would you say to a brother out there who has custody of his children, or maybe he doesn't have custody, but he has visitation rights, and really trying to be in his son's or his children's life? What words of encouragement would you give to that person that may be feeling discouraged or just going through a lot of stuff, challenges with the mother? Like, what words would you say?
The legal system is the most flawed thing you could ever go through, but that's our only option, because a lot of times if you have like a written agreement, I wouldn't say a written agreement, a verbal agreement, being a human being, you're going to have arguments and, stuff is going to go sideways, and it, may not always be their fault. It may be our fault, but you have to get, stuff on paper. And even if you can't abide by everything on the paper, at least you're trying, but you have to go to court to try to get something on paper. And don't let the court system keep, turning you away for you to give up, because you're going to keep getting turned away. You're going to have to pay money. You're going to have to do those motions. But as long as your compass is like, okay, I'm going to do whatever it takes to be in these kids' life, go the court route. I mean, I tried not to before, and I have done it with them. So go the court route. Even if you don't have full custody, be a good co-parent. My fourth son, I'm going to always be, in my mind, or I think I'll always be a piece of crap, or I don't do enough for him, because he only come over on the weekends.
Right.
I pay a lot in child support. I have to tell you that I pay almost $800 for one child, and but to her, I'm pretty sure she said, well, he deserved it, and this and that. But that's a whole other discussion. But it sometimes leads to where I don't have anything for my other kids. But you still have to make it happen.
Right.
Just don't let the trials and tribulations be like, okay, I'm just gonna give up. The Lord knows I want to sometimes, and I probably put myself in that position myself sometimes. So I can't blame it on anybody else. But have a plan about being a co-parent. Be involved in their sports if you don't have time to do whatever. Just show your face. A lot of us just like, oh, I got too much time, I got to do stuff myself. Just show your face. get legal custody, and don't give up. That's the word. That's the main words of encouragement. Just be in their life. However, don't worry about them telling you too hood. You don't make enough money. You're not giving me child support. Do whatever you can to be in them kids' life, even if you don't have the money.
Right. Absolutely. Just do whatever it takes to be there for your children. And what would you say to a mother who may be out there using the child as a pawn to get back at the father? What would you tell her?
Well, that can be tricky because, like I say, we put ourselves in bad situations sometimes. Sometimes your better half will tell you, like, hey, man, you can't sleep with everybody without a condom. And, that's just being real.
Right.
If you're not prepared for whatever happens, even if you're not prepared to, take on the responsibility. So, but sometimes we ignore that.
Yeah.
And I would say me because I'm not, like I said, I'm very flawed. I make a lot of bad decisions.
We all do, Louis. You ain't by yourself.
Oh, yeah. But I can say that, hey, don't do this and don't do that. Everybody's situation is totally different. I think for mine, what she'll tell you is, well, hey, he got, these other kids in his house, so I'm sure they get full time, but I need this money and, we got, whatever happened. And I can say how, unfair it is and how it should be. I was quoted like at first $200 and something, for so much time. I don't know how it got to that point, but regardless of that, you can't worry about it. You have to let it go. Once it's gone, it's gone. And then, just don't worry about it. And for a mother, be serious about the situation. If he's trying to be in their life, kind of, you judge it. If his lifestyle ain't right, I can understand you trying to keep up from that. But if he's a good enough brother for him to have some contact, don't worry about the past. Don't worry about if he cheated on you. Don't worry about, whatever. Don't use that child to be the pawn or to be some chess piece in some game you're playing because these kids' life in the game, everything we do affects them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and they're watching. They're paying close attention to everything that's going on. So the less drama, the better. Just they already got enough stuff to deal with their little lives and just trying to figure out who they are and all that. So
exactly. But again, we men, I'll say for myself, we put ourselves in certain situations by not making a good situation. So I don't want to make it seem like the women are, they're scorned, they go through so much. And how can I say as a human that you don't feel like, oh, okay, I'm going to pay you back?
Yeah.
I can say right now because I'm in the situation that, it's wrong, but I can't say what situation is for somebody else. But if these kids are really, we're doing what it takes for them. We can't worry about ourselves. Then you can't worry about whatever he did to you in the past, whatever this and that. If he's truly just trying to be in his life, if he's truly just trying to walk into school, come to the games, and just be in his life, you let him do whatever he wants to do in terms of being in his life, as long as it's not a detriment to his life. You let him be there. Don't worry about what he's doing to you personally. God will work that out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's something to be said on both sides. Like you said, we both can take ownership of the choices we made and who we've chosen to have children with, so it's on both sides. It's not just on the man making poor decisions, it's on the woman's side too. Sometimes we don't always make the best choices in who we choose to get with. So, it's on both sides. And like you said, we just got to look at the bigger picture of these kids. Okay, they're here now. We can't take back what has happened, but we can impact how we move forward. We can choose how we're going to co-parent, how we're going to deal with each other moving forward. So if nothing else, take that from this conversation, that focus on the bigger picture, which is these children,
And don't worry about being perfect. Don't worry about being perfect.
That's it, yeah. That's a huge one, because like you said, you have gone through a lot of things, and anybody could have discredited you, but you are still there for your boys. You're still there. You have a heart to raise your children, and that's what matters at the end of the day. There is no handbook, like people have told me. There is no handbook for how to raise children. So, there is no perfect way to do it. You just got to do the best you can with what you have and go from there.
Yeah.
So any last words you want to say, Louis, to the people before we end this broadcast tonight?
Well, of course. Thank you for having me. I think any little encouraging thing that we can share with anybody is always good, even if it's from such a flawed person like myself, such a bad decision maker as myself.
Whatever, stop. Don't beat yourself up. You're doing an amazing job.
I mean, but that's a separate issue. It's that I want to make sure I belabor that point because nobody in the world is perfect, and even to use that connotation makes no sense. You know, nobody's perfect, but there's some really great parents that we look up to, and they can be the worst parent. You know, some like I said, I always wanted to be like Clark Griswold, that type of father. But I mean, even he made mistakes. He was a TV father. You know what I mean? So don't worry about being perfect. Even, I mean, just put them in your life, even if it's a detriment to yours. You ain't gonna have money to go out. You know, I go places and everybody, man, we doing this and we doing that. I'm like, I gotta go buy groceries, man. I mean, you just have to put them first, and everything else will fall in place. I guarantee you. Don't tell me about how many times I went to court. I've been going to court for 15 years, and I still make bad decisions. You know what I mean? But I keep fighting for them, and I don't live the best. I moved into a neighborhood that I can barely afford, but it's all about putting them first, to put